Excellent. All right, good morning, folks, or good afternoon. It's after somewhere. So my name is Olu, and I'm here with Vanessa, an IT specialist, and today we're going to try to use Ansible to install Apache, which is a web service tool that we can run on Linux for web servers. So at this juncture, I'm sharing my screen. I have Ansible on my left screen here, which is the tool which is an automation tool that allows us to deploy packages or even remote scripts onto our remote machines. So without further ado, so this is a Linode that I created moments ago, and I just want to check to see if we have the Apache package installed. So if we do RPM as QI HTTPD, that would tell us if we have the package installed or not, and it says package is not installed. So I will already have Ansible set up on this machine here, and I believe I have to be in my local Ansible folder in order to run some of these commands, and I'll show you why in a minute. So that's my Ansible folder that I've created over some time. So whenever you want to run Ansible to use it to automate uh, uh, package downloads and installation scripts, you have to have certain configuration files located in the local directory where you're running Ansible. So the first critical configuration file is ansible.cfg. CFG stands for config. So if I display the contents of ansible.cfg, so one by one, what this means, so default inventory equals that inventory file. That is telling us, so when you work in the Ansible environment, you had to have a file called an inventory file that will contain the list of IP addresses of the nodes that you'd like to control. So this line here is saying, look for inventory, look for the nodes inside a file in my local directory called inventory. Privilege escalation, this is kind of like assigning superpowers to yourself when you run Ansible. So become user root. We want to become root so we can have root powers. Method, become method is sudo. Kind of like you type sudo when you want to run a command as root, but you're not root. Ask pass, don't ask for password. Okay, so the other critical file is the inventory file. So if I list contents of that inventory file, I have a couple of local IP addresses that I have run Ansible code on in the past. Today, we're working on a Linode machine. Linode is a cloud infrastructure that allows you to virtualize Linux operating systems on the cloud. So if I go into this inventory file, I will delete these two because I no longer have those machines. So the Linode machine that I want to control is on my left there, and the IP address is 66.228.57.119. By the way, I've already configured Secure Shell to allow ONS to log into uh, this Linode machine. So the ID ONS, it tells me who I am. My user ID is 1002. My group ID is 1002, and I belong to the group ONS. Okay. So come back to my local machine and I save this. And just like that, we are ready to go. So let me see if I can find a file that I've configured in the past to run some Ansible code. And it's been, let's take a look at this test.yaml. So plan EIM test.yaml. So let's take a look at this code and try to understand what is being said in this code, what the task is. So I said this is a test. Hosts, when I say hosts, all that means every host in my inventory file will get controlled by Ansible, and whatever activities I'd like to get performed get performed. Remote user is Hoennis because I've created an account for Hoennis. Become, yes, I want to become Hoennis with superpowers. So here, the first task is try escaping a character, but we're not going to do that. So in Ansible, there are a bunch of modules that you can use. So for a person that's a beginner, you probably don't want to do it this way. What you type is Ansible, the built-in, the line and file. But since I'm fairly good with Ansible, I just kind of take a shortcut. Okay. So, but we're going to not save this. And I'm going to copy this file and use it as a template. So I'm going to say copy tab YAML to, let's say we want to install Apache. So we just say Apache.yml. Okay. Now if I edit Apache.yml, so I'm going to say, for the name, say install Apache, virtual machine. Okay. Now I can specify which IP addresses I want here, but for now we're just going to do everything else is true. So here I would say install Apache machine. And the module I want to use is not line and file. Line and file is search. So I'm going to say I want to install so that one should be Ansible.builtin.dnf. So I don't remember. So what we'll do is we'll go to actually there's an easier way. We'll go into collections. So today we're just trying to show what Ansible can do. This what I'm doing here, Vanessa, is a little bit high level and complicated, but there are easier ways. But I just want to show you what we can get done using Ansible. So the module I want to use is the zero module, Ansible.built-in. So I'll type :0. So these are the modules. So if I want to install, so there should be one for DNF. That's 43. So I type 43. And I will go to the examples and look at their example. So I was right. The module name is Ansible.builtin.dnf. Oh, I could actually copy this because this actually installs the latest version of Apache. So there's no sense in trying to memorize all of this. Red Hat has done most of the work for you. So what we'll do here is we'll type, we'll delete all of these guys. Indentation is very important. Ansible, if the indentation isn't right in the YAML file, you will get errors. So we'll get rid of these guys. And all these guys have to be under this guy here. Yeah, we have to be under. If not, Ansible will complain. And so this is it. This is the code. Very simple code, 3 or 4 lines of code to install Apache on this machine here. So we can say RPM -P I HTTP to make sure it says it's not installed. So something else we could do is we could say tell -F var log messages to see what activities are taking place. So here we go. I think you probably need to delete that extra space there. So the command to run Ansible for you, Vanessa, for starting out, you probably use Ansible playbooks. Ansible-Navigator is a little bit more advanced. So, but this is what I use: Ansible-Navigator, and then I believe I give the file name. What was the file name again? You remember?
I
Apache, I got it. Ansible-Navigator run stamp standard output. Give the file name. So it's been a while since I ran this command. That command may have escaped me. So it looks like our so the problem is at line 9, column 28, but maybe elsewhere. So let's go look at line 9. So line 9. Okay, so the problem is my indentation. So remember I said that stuff is important. It's still going to complain if I do this. I think these guys need to be indent a bit. So now let's try it. Ah, there you go. Look on the right side. You see what's running? You see what it's saying on the right side? Did it fail?
Yep.
Oh, missing pseudo password. Okay, so let's see what the complaint is here. It stopped user manager for UID 1002, and that's Hoennis. So probably because my password. Let me make sure I have secure shell configured properly. If I go VIM, let's see SSH, SSH B dash big. So let's see what we have going on here. Public authentication key, that works. Password authentication. Let's say no because we no longer are using passwords. We're using keys. Permit enter passwords, no. Okay. We'll do this and then we'll restart the show. So missing pseudo password, but I told it that I don't want ask for password. So VIM Ansible CFG. Become ask pass is false. Become user root. Okay. Become method sudo. Okay. So let me shell 66.58.57.119. So I'm able to do that. CO. Let's do that. Okay, so I'm able to SU. So there's something missing. Let me go look at my YAML file. Remote user awareness become true. Okay, so let's see the so here I am. Let's see E. Oh, do I not have a that's what the problem is. Okay. Yes. All right, so let's try to run Ansible again. Ah, that was the problem. So it's gathering facts. So when it says gathering facts over there, and I was supposed to do something and show the tail command so you can see. Oh, shoot, no, come on. Let's see if we can. Let me run this command again. It won't do anything this time because it's already done it once. Okay, started. Okay, started user. Enable repo. So that tells me it's looking into the repository to download. Slow down, buddy. Okay, usually you should be able to see where it's saying installing, but that's not the purpose of this session. So if I run the rpnq command again, voila, you see that Apache is installed now. Remember that didn't have it installed. So you could do this for over 1,000 machines. Let's say we wanted to deploy 1,000 servers where we would have some kind of load balancing. I'm just throwing out 1,000. It's probably never that many for smaller companies. So if we wanted to deploy something across 1,000 nodes, 3 or 4 lines of code, within 30 minutes, we've done it. Okay. So now if I run system CTL status, HTTPD, you see where it says it's disabled? Okay, let me, so the HTTPD service, the Apache server isn't running right now. Right? It's disabled. Okay. So if I had 1,000 machines, I could go type systemctl. This is the command to start it. You say systemctl. So I'm going to enable it and start it now. And after HTTPD. And if I run this command, this disable that you see here will be enabled and it will show that it's running. Okay. But this is what I'm going to do instead. I'm going to go back inside my Ansible code. And then I'm going to create another task called name. And I'm going to say start uh, Apache service. Okay. The module that I need to use for that is called Ansible.built-in service. Okay. And then name would be HTTP state enabled. So let's go look at the module example. So I'm going to go navigate collections. All right, so we go back to Ansible that built-in, I don't know which services, and we go find service. And service is 155. Go look at an example. And I bet you they have one for the Apache. So you see built-in that service, name HTTPD state started, but we want to make sure we choose the one that causes it to persist over reboots. So I think a state started is probably enough. Oh no, you have to enable it. If you want it to persist across boots, then you have to add enabled as well. So state started, enabled, yes. Okay. So we go state, started, enabled, yes. We save it. Now if we rerun the Ansible code, so remember, remember this is currently disabled and I'm not going to touch it. Just pretend that these are 1,000 nodes on the right side. So if I run it now,
And since you already installed the Apache HTTPD, will it skip past those tasks and go straight to the enabling and starting?
so Ansible is idempotent. Idempotent means that if a task has already happened or if the service is already installed, it won't do it again over it.
Yeah.
So now if I do status HTTPD, look at that.
Yep.
You have to write any code or type any commands on this machine. If it were 1,000 machines on the network, or 100 or 50, it would have happened across all of them. So now, if you want to deploy like scripts, let's go back and look at the Ansible collections thing here. So I go back to 0, okay? And there's something, so you see CMD right here? That's for commands. You want to run shell commands. There's also another one called shell, which I think does the same thing, pretty much does the same thing. So it executes shell commands. But we'll just do the command. So 21, we'll go look at an example. But this one doesn't have an example. There are other ways. Let's try the shell first to see what that says. See here, it says, I'm going to expand the screen a little bit. Excuse me. Execute the command in the remote shell. Okay. So we change the working directory to some directory before executing the command. So the module you use is called the shell module, and then you write your code. Okay. So let me find one that's easier to. Let's go to the Ansible website. Ansible. So I go. I run commands. Ansible. Yeah. And we'll go to Ansible itself. So let's find examples. So you see, these are a bunch of commands that we can run. So let me find one that makes sense, that easy. Let's just start with this one here. So I'll copy it. So we're idempotent. These ones don't run again. So we'll just leave them be. So remember, formatting is very important. So I'm just going to say display the content. I'll say copy, uh, copy. It's let's say Etsy folder from my home directory. Ansible the built-in command. This here just means we're registering a variable, so we won't use this. So then we'll say copy command is CP, right? So we say CP Etsy We'll give it a wild card to home awareness. Okay. So that should be, let's see if this runs. So if I go here, Control C, clear, CD, so I say LS awareness. Oh, I know what I do. So LS home awareness. There's nothing there currently. Let's see what hidden files are in there. So there's a bunch of hidden files, but nothing else. So ls, there's nothing in there. Okay, so if I run this command now, so you see that these services are green. It did nothing with them. So that's because it's idempotent. Okay, I'm not, no such file or directory. Okay, so let me see what I did here. Let's just remove this. Still doesn't matter. CPR not so recursively. It wants copy hyphen R. Ah, so copy did not. You see that it changed. When it says change, that means something happened, and that's why it's in yellow. The previous tasks that we did are all green because it's idempotent and it didn't have to do it over again. So let's go back in here and see if we copied the file. You see that? So let me just do LSL. So I copied the Etsy folder into that there. So if I do cat Etsy, see Etsy, it's a directory. See, it says D right there, so it's a directory. If I now list the contents and say, you see that it copied the content of the Etsy file. So if you want to copy one folder, say from your local machine, if you want to copy a file from your local machine onto 1,000 machines, you could do that just by doing some of these things. But you would have to specify where you want the file to come from and where it's going. So this one here, I specified the location of the file, right? It's within that machine and it's going to this location, okay? So when you want to write scripts, the built-in command is what you use, okay? And I think if you give it a, like a, if you give it this key, then you can write a bunch of commands. I would have to look that up. You can write like however many lines of code that you want to write. So this right here is like running a shell script, right? Script would contain more lines of code, right? This is
Mhm.
one code where you can write a bunch of line of code and then it would deploy it across machines. So that's what I wanted to show you. Okay. Any questions?
Yes, I guess I know you said the one you're using right now, it's more advanced level. Which one again would you say would you recommend for me to start with?
That's a very good question. So instead of typing Ansible, instead of writing with a navigator, you would say You would use Ansible. Everything would be the same except for you would be saying Ansible playbook.
Let's go play with
Then you would give it the file name. So the file was what
Apache.
YAML, okay, and it should still run it. See that?
Oh,
So the Ansible-Navigator that I'm using is a containerized. You were talking about containers yesterday. It's a containerized environment, and until you understand containers, you probably don't want to mess with that. You just want to
okay.
say playbook and you give it the YAML file. But again, what I want you to come away with today from here is that when you're trying to deploy packages or code or script across more than one machine, you don't want to be sitting in front of each individual machine copying your code over. You want to make sure the same code, the same line of code is run across the same machines for consistency. Because if you try to type it across machines manually, you're bound to make mistakes. But if you just write a YAML file, run it in Ansible, and tell it which machines to are deployed on. So I set all here, right? Now, if I had said instead, let's go look at my YAML, my inventory file. So I only have one machine there, right? So if I instead said, if I add another IP address, I add this and so let me say 101, okay? It should complain because when I say all and I say run this, it should complain. It's unreachable. See that? Because one, that IP address doesn't exist, and I said all. But what I could do to mitigate that is if I go in here and specify the actual IP address I want. That takes care of that problem. Okay. So if I run it again, there you go. See that? So what I like to ask you to do is go come up with like a Linux Bash script that you want to run on like two or three machines. Test it on one machine, make sure it works, and then we can get back together and deploy, or even try to deploy it yourself. So I'll go on Linode or AWS and create two or three or four machines, virtual machines, knowing their IP addresses. You try to use Ansible to deploy your script across those three or four machines, and let's see how it works out for you.
Okay, I can do that. And then, so did you want to meet again like next? I know I'm not available next weekend, but maybe like actually Sunday I might be available, but or the weekend after.
So here's the deal. Just try to run it, and then as you have questions, reach out to me.
Okay, yeah, I can do that.
All right. All right. Good job. Keep it up.
Thank you. And thanks for teaching me Ansible. I appreciate it.
No worries. Yep. So go ahead and stop there.